Digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. And that's it.
That's it. That's all you got.
Yep, that is literally the song.
That was like 2 lines.
Well,
Surely the theme tune
they
is...
repeat.
Yeah, you repeat it until I'm satisfied.
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions. Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the
I
champions.
presume as a theme tune, it needs to go on for at least 30 seconds, so we have been recording 30 seconds now, so that counts as a theme tune. That's okay.
It's close enough.
It's close enough to count. That'll do. So, welcome to the Button Mash Podcast. That was a theme tune, I think.
From the classic Digimon.
From the classic Digimon, sung by Michael.
Hello.
We also joined this week, as usual, by Will.
Hello.
And
Everyone remembers Digimon, don't they?
No.
Well,
Vaguely, the cheap knockoff of Pokemon, obviously.
I had a boxing cactus. I remember that.
I remember it as the... I don't remember it as I know it was all the other forms of media that it was, but I had the actual Tamagotchi version of it, which I think was that the original one? That was actually how it started life, wasn't it? It was like a Tamagotchi that had like a little metal contact to the top, and you could put 2 Tamagotchis together effectively and battle them.
Yeah, and I think they saw how Pokemon took off and thought, this can be a thing.
Yeah, so I had the original fighting Tamagotchi thing, which was kind of cool. I didn't actually know a single other person that had it, but I was always optimistic that I would eventually find someone I could possibly fight them, but you know.
Do you still carry it around in your pocket, just on the off chance that
Yes,
one day...
yes. One day I will find a person who owns a Digimon.
I think your chances grow slimmer every day.
I remain optimistic. Someone must be out there. They must be.
One day, when you're 55, walking down Blackpool Pier, that'll be the moment.
I don't want to be in Blackpool when I'm 55.
That's the dream.
That might be your dream. I'm not so sure about anyone else's.
Oh dear.
Anyway,
Digimon.
yes, we've done the theme.
To be fair, you can actually buy these on eBay. I'm just checking now for £120.
You
so,
what?
Yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah.
What condition's yours in, John?
I think mine's in a cupboard somewhere at home. Holy crap! I have got to go find that.
Yeah.
Hi, Mum. Dig through my cupboards, please. There's something worth 120 quid in there. Get it?
And that's when your mum turns, she'll go, oh, I sold that years ago in a car boot sale.
For 20p. No! That probably will have happened as well. That's the worst part of it.
To be fair, that is the top listing, and then it just goes down rather dramatically.
Is it a reasonable price, or do they drop to like the £1 mark very quickly?
No, actually, it kind of goes up and down from about 35 to 120. That's not bad, actually.
Okay. I'm pretty sure it's in pretty good condition. That might fund my new processor for my PC.
Yeah.
I could go for that.
You might have the super rare Digimon, like it'd be the Charizard shiny card.
I don't think that's necessarily the case, but one can always hope. It was yellow plastic. It wasn't very shiny.
Charizard was a piece of card.
Well, yeah, but it was a shiny piece of card, and that's the important bit. People value the shiny. It's a well-known fact, if you wrap anything in tinfoil, it's way more valuable. That applies to anything.
I thought it was to stop people from reading your thoughts. That's the only value of tinfoil.
Well, it also makes your brain more valuable. It increases its eBay value as well. So if you take your brain out, wrap it in tinfoil, and put it up on eBay, you can get like 3 times more than you would for just a brain.
That's good.
And it will keep it fresh for an extra few days.
Yeah, there's that too. Extra advantages.
Tinfoil. One of the proud sponsors of Butterman.
We've just got a £2 million sponsorship deal with tinfoil.
I think we've sold it pretty well there for anyone that was ever in doubt.
Anyway, welcome to the Button Mash Podcast. We talk about tinfoil.
Yep.
We in fact sometimes talk about video games and video games accessories. We'll be here for somewhere around the next 2 hours talking about such things as those.
It's just a pretense, really.
It's a pretense to talk about whatever the heck is relevant to anybody's lives. And maybe many times not. But there you go. I don't know. Let's do some things. Let's talk about some video games that people have done.
Cool.
Has anybody done any games?
No, unfortunately. I played a little bit more of Alien Isolation, and the inevitable betrayal of the company happened, and I got sucked out of an airlock, which was most unfortunate.
And how does one survive being sucked out of an airlock? I mean, presumably, unless this, literally stealing the plot of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I presume holding one's breath doesn't work too well.
No, I managed to make it to a suit in time.
Okay.
And jump back to the ship.
Jump back to the ship off vacuum.
Yeah.
Just springboarding off that vacuum, that sturdy vacuum.
I've just got the image of him just being sucked out of the airlock, but he's being sucked into the spacesuit.
That could be painful.
Yeah, there's not many gaps in a spacesuit to get sucked through and come out intact at the other end.
I admit you might have to make sacrifices to get in the suit.
Like your entire physical being.
Who needs a physical being?
Yes.
Jabba the Hutt didn't have a physical being. He did alright.
I still have a flamethrower, so I don't care about my physical being.
Ooh, it's back in.
You could have fired the flamethrower in the opposite direction and propelled yourself with it. That would have been awesome. I would have bought that as a strategy to get back inside the ship. If you turned around, faced the flamethrower away from the ship, and shot yourself through space with a flamethrower. That would have been
it
cool.
would be less dramatic in space. I don't think it would ignite.
It has. I don't know. Does a flamethrower actively rely on the atmosphere around it to create the flame, or does it have an oxidizer? I always figured it would probably have an oxidizer.
Now that you mention it, it does have the little spark at the front.
Well, that'll just be for igniting it, but presumably you'd have the actual fuel source and some manner of oxidizer to give it the. I don't know. I'm not an authority on flamethrowers. I've never really done the research. I kind of figured you'd
Definitely
have.
not in space, at any rate.
No, that's not been tested. Well, NASA needs to get on that one.
What a MASH podcast brought to you by Larry's Flameflowers.
And NASA research. NASA, next project, we would like you to go into space and test a flamethrower for science, you understand?
Oh, yeah.
We need to know what happens when an astronaut in space fires a flamethrower.
I think it ends well.
It can only end well. It will end in the death of many aliens who are trying to eat us.
Yeah, how far into the game are you now, Will?
I'm just past chapter 11. And fortunately, out with the airlock came the alien as well. So I've spent a little bit of time alien-free. I don't think it's going to last. I don't know how the alien's going to get back on board or if there's another alien, but I don't think it's going to last.
Right.
I think this is going to be an elaborate sitcom plot.
What? The alien's just going to show up in the coffee shop one day, and Joey will show up.
No, he'll just be in like a very bad disguise, which is just him in a mustache. And he's getting past like an idiotic guard with like fake passport pictures.
It's just Red Dwarf's next monster of the week, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Cool.
Except we can't kill it with beer.
Well, you can always have a go. It's a
Have you
Vindaloo monster.
Have you tried the Teenage Mutant Ninja 2 tactic of talking to the alien, reasoning?
I still haven't resorted to that yet, no.
That's a last resort, is it?
When I run out of flame fuel, yeah, then.
Then we'll
Maybe
sit down and have a conversation over a cup of coffee with
After
Joey.
I stop trying to melt it.
Now, I think we've had our differences, but I think we can all agree I've run out of flamethrower fuel. Let's talk.
He would have to actually agree with that. It's a good starting point.
That's a good reason to have a conversation. Anyway, I played a few things this week.
Ooh.
Should we talk about my things? I played,
Well, it's kind of the point of the show, yeah.
I was going to say, one thing I remember you went, ooh, that looks interesting last week, Michael. A Bird Story, that came out, and I played through that.
Oh, yeah, the game by the developer that you really liked.
Yes, that's by Freebird Games, who is the guy who made To the Moon, which lots of people loved, and there are lots of videos of people crying at that on YouTube, including, I think, possibly PewDiePie.
There's no video of you crying.
No, there's no video of me crying. I think I probably played that before I did YouTube stuff, actually, to be honest. That's probably going back a little bit. It's been a few
You
years
do
since...
YouTube stuff?
Yeah. Yes, Michael, I do YouTube stuff.
Where can people go to see this YouTube stuff?
I didn't even pick up on that one, but that can be found at youtube.com/buttonmashempire.
I think that's a better segue than the ones I've been doing in the last couple of weeks.
I think that's the earliest one in the show yet.
No, I'm pretty sure we've beaten that before. He's been pretty quick off the mark some weeks.
Oh dear.
Will somebody start a timer and I'll see if I can get into the intro.
Button Mash Podcast. Where can we find your YouTube channel?
Digi, where is your YouTube?
If only YouTube had a theme tune, you could do that and use it as a segue.
That is a research process for next week. That's a project.
I don't think it has a... Someone's probably made one, like an unofficial one.
But YouTube has a theme song.
Yeah, a YouTube theme tune. It probably involves cats.
I can't really do a cat impersonation.
You could do Nyan Cat. That's a song that's indicative of YouTube as a whole.
Meow.
That's not Nyan Cat. Go. Did you not know Nyan Cat?
No, I know Nyan Cat. Everyone knows Nyan Cat.
Well, sing it, damn it.
I'm not in the interest. It's for next week.
Okay, right. I want the 10-hour version for next week.
Oh, wow.
That's YouTube.
That's a challenge. So, Bird Story.
So, Bird Story. It is not like To the Moon. It will not make you cry, but it is whimsical and lovely and adorable, and it's a little over an hour long, and I very much recommend it. And it's very cheap, so it's just a short thing.
I should hope so for an hour long.
Yeah. Well, it's just kind of bridges the gap between... To the Moon is to be a part of a series, of which it's still only the first part in the series, but yeah, eventually there will be a second game, and a Bird Story kind of bridges the gap between the first one and the second one. It's kind of set before all the other ones, which I guess makes it a pre-sequel of some sort. Is that what we call those things these days? I think it is.
First, yep.
Well,
That's
yeah.
right.
I don't know where the pre-sequel lies in the Borderlands thing, but I think it's something similar to that, isn't it?
Yeah, sounds about right.
I still think a prequel works, but, you know.
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Not-
it's set in a weird place, chronologically speaking, but it kind of fills the gap story-wise between the first and second games, I guess.
Not trying to segue or anything, but have you recorded any of this for your YouTube channel?
A Bird Story, yes, I have. I did record my playthrough of that. The second part of that one went up yesterday, in fact. And the third one will be going out... Well, it will be tonight when this video goes out on YouTube, so in about 8 hours' time there will be a video, which is the final part. Like I said, it's a very short game. It's in 3 parts, so those videos are up on my channel, or will be very, very soon when this podcast goes live. And I did notice on like launch day, on like the moment the game went live on Steam, there were like several big channels who put the entire full playthrough in one shot. Just boom, there you go. There's an hour and a half of gameplay just there on their channel. I was like, God damn it, you didn't even break it up, guys. It's just like boom, entire game spoiled on launch day. There you go, guys.
And not one segue in sight.
No.
Amateurs.
Sorry? Amateurs, yes. Yeah, I mean, I guess, I think, as I say last week, there's one guy I know was like, oh, PewDiePie played it, therefore it's going to be a big game on YouTube. And I was like, I don't even know if PewDiePie has played it, but I guess a lot of people are like, oh, PewDiePie really made To the Moon famous, therefore there's probably going to be a lot of interest in A Bird Story. So PewDiePie's probably likely to play that, so should probably get in on that. And I don't know if he has or if anyone's bothered. I mean, the fact is that the guy who made it actually really hasn't done much marketing for it, and he announced like he only announced the release day a week before the game came out. He was like, oh, by the way, this game's out next week. I haven't done any marketing for it. It was like literally just one tweet, that was it. And at that point, I guess everybody then approached him and said, hey, we're press, can we look at it on our YouTube channels? And plenty of people obviously did get those, myself included. But yeah, that's, I don't know, it just seems like a weird way to do it. looking at the Steam page on launch day, it's like it wasn't even in the top sellers. So, in spite of To the Moon's success, I don't think that necessarily translates into people hanging on his every word for a sequel and stuff. You'd like to think it would, and there's clearly are a few people. I mean, myself and Fixer from the Strangeland server that I play on, we were both like, "Oh my god, a Bird Story! Can't wait for the Bird Story! We're such big fans of Freebird games. This guy made such good games in the past. I can't wait for his next game." A lot of people were probably like, "Yeah, To the Moon, this is great," but then didn't follow the developer, aren't keeping an eye on what he made. Most people probably, even if they were fans of To the Moon, they probably don't know about a Bird Story, broadly speaking, and it needs someone like PewDiePie to, shove it in people's faces before anyone knows about it.
Do you think that it lived up to the hype that you at least felt for it?
Yeah, I think it was very much the same standard of all his stuff. It's still an excellent story. It's well worth playing, I do think, yeah.
So you're happy with the 1 hour gameplay? You didn't feel like you needed more?
It was an hour and 20 it came to by my counts in the end, but I spend a lot of time faffing about doing stupid shit in games. As you look at other people's playthroughs, they're like a little over an hour, so I took like a good 10-15 minutes longer than everyone else just because I was derping about a lot of the time, I think.
Starting fires and climbing up things.
It's not that kind of game. Although climbing up things is a thing I do a lot in games. If I can try and climb up something, I will try and climb up something. That's what I do.
You have problems.
I have climbing problems. It's not a problem. I can climb perfectly well, thanks.
Yeah.
I do that in Wildstars. I've got like I say, I've got a lot of explorer abilities, which give me abilities to try and get on top of things that I wouldn't normally be able to. And I was like, I'm going to climb all the things and stare down at people who cannot climb things as well. And it's fun.
Worrying.
I mean, I've been playing Freedom Planet. I've started playing back through that a second time now, and I'm playing with Carol, and that's the character that can climb walls. It's kind of the Knuckles equivalent, basically, in the Sonic analog that it is. And yeah, it's like, I can climb walls. I'm going to climb all the walls. I'm going to climb to the top of the level at every available opportunity, just in case there's a thing up there. And, like 1 in 10 times, there will be something.
You can't really argue with the logic of climbing things with a character that climbs.
Yeah, I think it's reasonable.
Fair play.
Also got to check out this week. This one came through, and this was fun. Randall's Monday. There was an embargo on this. I think that is. I bloody hope it's up now. I'm pretty sure it is because my review went up yesterday on that. So I think the embargo is up on that. I can talk about it. That is a point-and-click adventure.
Woo!
Which actually it is really, really cool. Are you guys familiar with anything like View Askew-universe type stuff? I can never for the life of me remember the name of the guy that did that bloody thing. Kevin Smith movies.
No.
Jay and Silent Bob, Clerks.
Yeah,
those kind of things. Yeah, it's kind of very much that kind of thing. It's the guy who voices the main character is the guy who voiced Randall in Clerks, and the character in this is called Randall, and it's not the same Randall, which is totally confusing. But, you've got that voice. Jay and Silent Bob themselves actually do make an appearance somewhere in it. I haven't got that far into it yet. So, yeah, I don't think it is like officially View Askew-universe kind of thing. I don't think it's like canonical Clerks universe type stuff. But like I say, Jay and Silent Bob are in there for whatever silly reason, and it's just very, very silly, occasionally slightly dark humor, and it's very in your face. A lot of references to everything everywhere. There's like a courier company in the town that your character works or worked for. He gets fired very, very quickly early on. And the logo for that is basically just Portal, is what it is.
Portal.
Yeah,
we do like Portal.
We do like Portal.
Memories.
It's like all the street names in the game are named after things from basically other point-and-click adventures. Like you live on Threepwood Street. Yeah, and then there's lots of other stuff there's like all the underground lines. There's like the Schaefer line and the Low line, which is Al Low, and yeah, there's all the lines in the underground are just famous point and click developers. And yeah, all the stops and references. There's like the Sam line and the Max line, Sam and Max. Sort of Sam Street and Max Avenue or something, I think it is. The whole thing is just references. If you don't want references, don't play the game. But if you like references, there's lots in there. There's endless. It's awesome. I'm really enjoying it. So I think that's a cool one to keep an eye out for. And you can find that on my YouTube channel.
Hey, I didn't set you up.
No. Am I not allowed to say anything if I'm not set up?
It is invalid.
It doesn't count as a segue.
Okay, no. Well, that...
Do you want me to set it up for you so you can do it?
No advertising for you.
No, it's fine. I'll live without it. I've already advertised once. I don't need to advertise twice. That's quite enough for me, thanks.
You're done for the evening, so...
I'm done. I'm finished. I'm satisfied with my advertising works. That game is by Daedalic Entertainment, who actually they've done a lot of pretty good point and click stuff in the past. It's still old school style, which is still, there's usually some really stupid logic behind it. There's it's just, and you get the kind of puzzles where you end up just rubbing every item on everything, just in the hopes that it does progress the story somewhat. And I know some people don't like that, so if you don't like that, fine, maybe not. But some people do get a kick out of it, and I don't necessarily mind it, so it's alright. It's just a bit frustrating. It does have a very, very, very thorough hint system if you do start getting into a situation where it's like, I have no idea what stupid thing I need to rub on another stupid thing in order to make things work.
Yeah, you sound like you really don't mind.
Well, there's one bit... microscopic spoiler alert, I suppose, but there's a pen. There's a pen you pick up fairly early on in the game, which is completely dried out. And every time you try and use it on anything, if there's any situation where you would need to use it on anything, it says "No can do, amigo. The pen is completely dried out." Every single time, it's like, okay, how do I get it working? And it's like, it's dried out. I don't know. Run it under a tap. Dunk it in that puddle, anything liquid. And it turns out there was one mug in the background of someone's house, which apparently, not that I particularly realised, I guess if you'd inspected it, it might have said something, but there was a mug in the background of one scene that apparently had alcohol in it, and if you dunk the pen in the mug, the pen becomes usable again. It's like, really? I had to use a hint system to find that one out, because I'm like, I would never have bloody found that out.
I dip all my pens in scotch. What are you talking about?
It makes them work really well.
Only the rich know that.
Yeah, so...
Only the poor man uses ink. The super rich use their own blood.
A blood pen soaked in scotch. Yeah,
that's how you can tell real class.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so yeah, there's just a lot of ridiculous things like that. I mean, that's probably one of the more sensible stuff. There's another bit where you have to boil a beaker of water and hook a hose up to a cuckoo clock, so the cuckoo, which actually has a cannon instead of a cuckoo, will fire with more force than it would typically do. If you try and use the cannon normally, it's like, oh, it doesn't have enough force. You have to boil the water next to it and attach a hose that you pick up from somewhere else and attach it into the wind-up mechanism of the clock in order to provide it with more force. It's like, what? How? Why? This is stupid.
I like Rube Goldberg mechanisms.
I do, but sometimes it's just like, it's the kind of puzzle you solve by randomly clicking on stuff, and when you do it, it's like, how was anybody supposed to figure that out? It's a miracle I figured it out, and it was only by clicking on stuff just randomly that anything happened at all. You kind of sometimes get those scenarios where it's like, okay, I know that this is the thing I need to interact with, but I don't know what I'm supposed to do to it. So it's like, okay, now I go through my entire inventory and rub every item on it one at a time until one of them goes, hey, I know if I use this like this and this and do this and this with this and this with this, it does this, and it does a whole Rube Goldberg machine kind of thing. It's like, that was random chance. I couldn't have done that. Oh dear.
I think Monkey Island kind of set me up with enough patience to do anything point and click after that.
Yeah, that's got some moments. That's. I still like the making the recipe on the ship bit at best. I think just because like everything on that kind of does make sense, but it's in a very very silly kind of way. It's like one human skull pressed, and what you use is the skull and crossbones flag in the recipe. It's a pressed skull. It's flat. It's on a flag. It's like, yeah, everything in that bit, it does actually make sense. I don't know. I don't think Monkey Island's quite as ridiculous in many bits, I think. I don't know, I'm struggling to think anything that's completely outlandish in Monkey Island.
What about the staple remover?
I can't for the life of me remember what that's used for at this point in time.
I think use that in the house on the cliff quite early on in the game to like remove the moose's tongue or something.
Oh yeah, but that's the automated bit. The game plays that bit for you.
Oh,
right.
You
don't. The fight scene in the house plays out automatically. So all of that you end up with a bunch of items at the end of that fight, which probably need using later on. And you definitely do get the staple remover in that scene. But you don't use the staple remover in that scene, not through any, direction of your own accord anyway.
I must have forgotten that.
I'm playing through it at the minute for my Patreon series, so I've seen that bit in the last few weeks. So, but I know full well that in my current playthrough I've got the staple remover and I have no idea what it's for. But I'm sure all will become clear at some point in the future.
Stay tuned for future Buttermash podcast where John reveals what the staple remover was actually for.
Or you could subscribe to my Patreon and get access to it.
And where can people go for that?
They can go to patreon.com/buttonmash.
See, that's okay. That's a natural segue.
That one's allowed, okay.
Yeah. Soon you will learn the ways of the segue, Padawan.
Right, okay, I'm learning. So yeah, I mean, there's obviously kind of Telltale have kind of got their new style point-and-click adventure games doing the rounds these days, stuff like The Walking Dead and The Wolf Among Us. But it does seem like there's some developers, particularly stuff like Daedalic, do seem to be clinging onto the old ways of what stupid hoops can we make players jump through to make ridiculous things happen. Because Daedalic are the guys who made, I don't know if anybody's particularly familiar with it, I don't know that they particularly got all that famous, but the Deponia series, which I picked up the first game of that in a sale a while back, and I've got the second game as well. I haven't actually played the second one yet, so that's very much on my to-do list. The first game, it was very good, but again, it's exactly the same school of design, which is just stupid items in stupid scenarios. It also had they patched it to update a bunch of the language packs and then broke half the game at one point as well, which wasn't so much fun, but yeah. It wasn't completely game breaking. It was just game ruining for like one entire section. It had like one Spanish language loop, a chunk of dialogue from the Spanish language pack just looping in the background over and over and over again. So just some guy in the Spanish voice just reciting the same bit of text. It's like, that was a little bit off-putting. You're trying to solve a puzzle and there's just some Spanish guy chanting something in your ear. Oh, for God's sake. Go away! I think I just turned the sound off on the game at that point. It's like, okay, until we get to the next scene, or at least to some point where this is not happening, this game gets muted. Oh well. So yeah, Daedalic seemed to like those old-school point-and-click stuff. It'd be interesting to see another developer go down the same route as Telltale in doing the sort of trying to innovate in the genre, because obviously this is not really innovating much beyond where Monkey Island already did that in the mid-90s. If not early 90s? When was Monkey Island 1 out?
91?
Holy shit, was it that old?
I don't know. It was pretty old.
Well, I'm going to have to look it up now.
I hope I'm right.
I think it might be 91, yeah. I'm not
It's a
really
hell of
sure.
a guess if you've got it.
Monkey Island series, 1990.
Oh, 1 year out.
Yeah.
Close though. That's respectable.
So yeah, I was 3 when that game launched.
Yeah, me too.
That's just why I never quite picked that one up when it first came around.
I played it pretty early on, probably when I was about 6.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think our family had a computer until much later, so...
We had one of those keyboards where you slot floppy disks into and play it on a TV.
Oh yeah, I remember
Right.
those.
This is I played Street Fighter 2 on that. I was very impressed. Maybe not 2. I don't know which one came out when. Also Aladdin.
Aladdin was
That was a
excellent.
good game.
Yeah, I played that on the Mega Drive, though. Never did finish it.
Aladdin was awesome.
No, me neither.
Matter of fact, even years later, if you go back and play it now, it's still rock hard. It's ridiculous. There's just like one set. In Aladdin, there's that one where you're flying the magic carpet and there's boulders flying at you, and it just gets faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster and faster, and there's a wave of lava catching up with you very slowly in the background. It's like, I think it's, I guess, supposedly theoretically possible to finish that section. I know full well, and I feel like this is probably a bug. I don't know if anybody else ever found that in this section. There's like one rock that if you fly into it, it doesn't kill you and restart the level. There's like
I don't think I even got that far.
any of the boulders, if you fly into them, it's like, oh, you died, try the level again. And then there's one of them, if you hit it, it goes, oh, well, never mind, better luck next time, and just takes you to the next level. I always, I know, I can't remember where it is now, but as a kid, I always tried to remember where that rock was and deliberately aimed for that rock. And I can't, in retrospect, that must have been a bug. As a kid, I just thought, this is the way I finished the level, easy. I didn't think, oh, this is not supposed to happen. I was like, I'm good there, that's a secret exit is what it was for me, I think. I don't think it was a secret exit, but I don't know.
It's more likely to be a glitch.
I think it was some sort of glitch or bug or something that was not supposed to be there, but yeah, I definitely gunned for that one. Like I say, yeah, coming back years later, I did beat it at one point on an emulator, but only with extreme use of quick save and quick load. Basically to the point where during the final boss, I would like land one hit on the boss, then quick save the game, then play the boss a bit more. If I died, I'd just quick load and then try it again and hit him again, and then quick save and beat the boss that way, which is not how you're supposed to beat a boss, honestly.
No, it's supposed to be slightly more challenging than that.
That boss, man, that's horrible. I mean, I cannot for the life of me possibly imagine going through the entire game, as difficult as it was, and then having to fight that boss as well. It's horrifying. The idea of having to do that.
But it made you a stronger person.
Well, it didn't, because I cheated my way through it.
Right,
Made you a more resourceful person.
Yes.
It began your slippery descent into darkness.
Yes, that'll probably do it. So yes, point and clicks order of the week. Did do a little bit of Guns of Icarus Online actually the other day. Been a while since I played that one. That was fun. They've overhauled everything and that's all changed.
That was one of our original Twitch things, wasn't it?
Maybe? I don't know. We definitely did some way back in the mists of time. Since last time I played it, they've added like a matchmaking service to it now.
Oh.
And as is always the way with the matchmaking service, basically it takes a while to learn how good you are at the game before it actually gives you any kind of reasonable matchmaking. So the first few matches it gives you, in fact the first probably quite a few matches it gives you, I suspect, it's just like, here's a well-organised clan of people to play against. It's like, oh no! Here's 8 people who are all coordinating really effectively over TeamSpeak together. And they're going to kick your ass.
Yeah, welcome to life.
I kind of feel like any kind of matchmaking like that should probably be able to... One important feature is that they should be able to distinguish when a group of people are all in the same clan together, playing together, and maybe just match them up against people doing similar things. Because, well, I suppose technically we had all picked out the same clan tag, but one guy had never even played the game before, and the rest of us were like, two of the others were newbies, and I'm just generally not very good at it. I've got a few levels under my belt such that the game doesn't qualify me as a newbie anymore. It still says, oh, you're reasonably good at this game. You're level 10 now. Which incidentally, they've changed all the leveling system as well, because I used to be level 4, and now I logged in. It's like, oh, you're a level 10 gunner. I was like, I'm a level 10.
What?
It only went up to 13 last time I logged in. So, yeah, now I think the leveling system, I don't know, goes up to like 50 or something? because there were like level 40, 45 people in the game. We're like, oh, okay, now we're just going to... Can we fly in the other direction? Just turn the ship around and run away. That seems like a valid strategy to me.
I agree with that system. Go with that.
Mm-hmm. That's what's going to work best for us. So yeah, we kind of ended up with one ship on our team being a bunch of randomers who'd just gone through the matchmaking. Our group, which was a group of 4 working together, but really, really bad at the game or very inexperienced, against like 8 people all coordinating, all in the same clan, all like level 40 something, or like, this is not a fair matchmaking system. Oh god. So
yeah. Life's not fair.
Well, games are supposed to be. That's why we play them. If I wanted unfairness, I'd go back to life. I'd go back outdoors. I went into the games because I wanted it to be fair, damn it.
What, you're just gonna walk outside and go, oh.
This is entirely unbalanced. Where are the mods?
RL is OP. Nerf now, please.
What if life was like a video game?
I presume you're referencing something there. I don't know that one.
No, I just made up my own jingle.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, maybe you should start a musical career there.
Yeah, I'm trying, damn it.
So, also, I suppose I haven't got much more to say other than the usual stuff that I've normally been playing. Wildstar, I have finished my attunement. Oh, well, I finished a bit of my attunement. I now onto the bit where I actually have to work with other people in a serious fashion now, which is difficult.
You didn't sound pleased about it.
Well, up to now, it's given me a mission where it's like, oh, you need this for this mission, you need to work with other people, but it doesn't matter because these missions are fairly easy and you can just pretty much work with whoever and you'll be reasonably successful at it. It's like, okay, this is okay. This is sort of easing you into things. Now, the next bit, I haven't done any of it yet, but I'm fairly well aware that the bosses are nasty, the levels are nasty, and it does require a group of people who are actually pretty decent at the game to actually complete it. So I may have to go with the guild on that one rather than just looking for randomers. Just because otherwise, yeah, I'm gonna be having trouble with that, I suspect. And then once that's done, I think that then I have to go like hunting world bosses and shit. And then once I've done that, I think maybe just then I'm allowed to do raids. Maybe, if I'm lucky. And then that means I actually do need to have no life and actually sacrifice most of my time to playing WildStar, so I'm going to have to shut down the YouTube channel, I'm going to have to stop doing podcasts and dedicate like 18 hours a day to the game. So you can look forward to that.
Leaving.
Well, that's how raids work. I don't think I'm going to get... I really doubt I'm going to get that far, to be quite honest with you. I think that seems optimistic to think I could. Because I've got all that group shit to get through first, and I'm not making quick progress. I think if I'd actually, like I say, if I'd actually sort of dedicated myself to doing it, I probably would have got through it fairly quickly. Like I say, I've got a guild. They'd probably been like, okay, yeah, we'll help you, and we could have done some stuff together. Gone through it pretty quick. I could have been through most of this section that's taking me like 2-3 weeks in like 2 days if I'd actually, put myself to it. I'd probably done it in a day if I'd been really dedicated, but I'm not. Which is why I cheat.
So you think this game has a bit of a shelf life for you?
I think it might do, yeah. There are only 4 dungeons to do at endgame. Like I say, the main purpose of the dungeons for most people just seems to be getting into raiding, and I don't necessarily think I'm cut out for raiding. I think it's one of the criticisms a lot of people have leveled at the game is that because they've so heavily focused the game towards the hardcore people, anybody who is not hardcore, there's not much left for them to do. Because
sorry, what do people have to be to get into this game?
They need to be hardcore.
Thank you. I just enjoyed that voice.
If you go watch some of the they did like a bunch of promo video. The devs did a bunch of promo videos before the game came out, and they do some really silly things like that. So they did a thing about how hardcore their game is, and they did something very like that, that's quite entertaining. So go look that up.
Oh dear.
But as I say, I've mentioned this in the past, I think, which is that if you look at things like World of Warcraft, obviously is a fairly well-established video game, noted for doing things right, generally speaking, at least from a business and game design perspective. And their hardcore content, their what was supposed to be at the end. Well, if we go back to classic, this is we're talking about the hardest of cores, the stuff that's only the most dedicated people could ever see and play. The final raid instance of the vanilla WoW before they did any expansions was Naxxramas. By Blizzard's estimate, only 1% of the player base ever actually got into any raid content whatsoever, and of those people, only 1% of those people ever actually saw Naxxramas. So of the people who played World of Warcraft, that's only 1 in 10,000 people ever saw the hardcore content. This is the audience that Carbine are tailoring their game to. They are tailoring their game to that 1 in 10,000.
But if I buy a game and if I'm invested that money, every month as well for a subscription, I want all the content, damn it.
Well, you can have the content. The point of the content is you've got to work your ass off for long hours, really dedicated for a very, very long time to be able to see it.
But I have a job and a child.
Yes,
now
but they don't care. That's
hardcore.
you are not cut out for raiding then.
Ah.
So if you see some of the schedules that people do with actual, like if you go back to old school WoW raiding, I believe these days you can literally go into a party finder and it'll find a group for you for raiding in WoW. So it's not the same anymore, but they are catering to that old school. You need to organize 40 people at the same time to all play at the same time every week or several times every week in order to complete this content, and you all need to be super coordinated, and it's ridiculous. This is only for the most dedicated few. If you want to see this content, you are going to have to forget about your job and child.
I'm getting the adoption papers ready as we speak.
So yeah, it's perhaps not the ideal business model. Perhaps should be some other content in there for people who are not quite so hardcore. The developers have frequently referred to them as cupcakes. I am very much a cupcake.
Well, you are doughy and soft.
Yep, I am that.
And delicious in certain lights.
Okay, sure, let's not go with that.
Making people uncomfortable.
Yes, indeed. So that's my gaming. Do we have any Football Manager news?
Not much to report. I'm still rooted in the relegation zone. I've lost my last 3 games, and my striker broke his leg. So it's not going particularly well.
That's not great.
No. It's slightly worrying, and I've got the vote of confidence from the board.
Really? They still reckon you can do it?
No, a vote of confidence usually means you're about to be sacked.
A vote of confidence?
It's basically a statement of, we believe in you. And then about 2 games later, we've sacked you.
Okay, that doesn't make sense.
That's how football works.
Is it? Oh, okay. I don't know the world of football. I've heard of like a vote of no confidence, which is like usually everyone's saying, we don't think you can do it anymore.
Yeah, it's just the board trying to kid you.
Okay, cool.
It's like a weird ass mind game thing going on.
And that translates the game as well, does it? As well as real life.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, can't say they're not accurate.
Realism.
Realism indeed.
You can't see this, but I'm doing a thumbs up.
Okay, cool. Well, and we'll draw a thumbs up on the screen or something.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I won't remember to do that. I won't remember to do that, and I can't be bothered to do that.
Oh dear, lack of professionalism.
Indeed. So a little shorter than usual this week, but I guess at that point, perhaps worth moving on to gaming news. After all, we've got a lot of news and a lot of new releases for the week this week compared to how much we played over the last week. So maybe we need to dedicate more time to it.
Ooh.
So we shall, as usual, take a brief break, and we shall be back after these words.
And now a word from our sponsors. Do you need tinfoil? But a MASH podcast is back.
Hello, and welcome back to the Bottom Mash podcast. We have some gaming news and gossip for you for the week.
But a MASH podcast Gaming news and gossip.
I said, there's nothing that... Well, there's nothing I can... Oh, actually, no. I was going to say, I don't think there's any gossip this week. Yeah, there probably is. Yeah.
In the episode that
I say that every week, mind you, though, so I was like, no, there's no gossip this week. No, we're a reputable news outlet.
Grr, Schaefer, grr.
No Tim Schafer this week. Probably no Tim Schafer this week.
He'll work his way in.
Yeah, probably. He will, probably. Anyway, first news, Blizzard. We like Blizzard, right? We like talking about them. Blizzard have got a new IP, which I thought was really interesting. Looks really cool. I don't know if you spotted this. Overwatch.
I have, and I think it looks brilliant.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Which actually...
I actually want to play this. I don't usually say that about games like this, but I really, really want to play this.
Well, you can sign... Have you signed up for the beta, then?
No, but I will do now.
Probably do that, yes.
Yay!
Yeah, so you need to remember your Battle.net login if you have that.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Really?
That's everyone's reaction to that I've spoken to so far. I'm like, oh God, I need to remember that password.
I know I have one, but no. It lost to the annals of history.
I need it kept from time to time, but I need it so infrequently that I can never remember it by the next time I need it. Which means every single time I come to log into a Battle.net service, I have to retrieve my password and go through all their bloody security hoops and stuff. Which fortunately isn't actually terribly bad, they're actually pretty good about getting your password back, but every single time it's like, okay, it's like, where were you born, what's your mother's maiden name, it's like, oh for God's sake.
I like the artwork a lot.
Yeah, it's basically they're going for... I'm not rightly sure exactly how it's going to play out. I think it's an FPS kind of thing, is it, so far?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's...
A little bit of third person, though, it looks like. I think you can swap and choose.
That's kind of interesting. I don't know a whole lot of FPSs that sort of let you choose third or first. I imagine, just from a tactical advantage, surely you got more advantage to... In that circumstance, surely you'd be able to see more in third person, so you'd get a bit of a tactical advantage in that regard. I always felt like... Because, for example, there's obviously the stealth character, which you can see in the trailers. One of the characters, like every bloody game, has one character that can go invisible. So if they're sneaking up on you from behind, if you're talking about a spy in TF2, to make the obvious comparison, because it's a class-based shooter thingy, if he sneaks up behind you completely invisible, you'll never know about him because he's about to put a knife in your back and it's first person. If you got third person, you probably don't have very long to react, but at least you got a couple of moments just to see someone sneaking up behind your character and stabbing you. Or whatever the heck they're going to do.
We'll see. I know they've got a lot of balancing to do based on the feedback that they got, but it's going to be good, I reckon.
Yeah, obviously, this is the first time we've actually seen it. I think what's most interesting about it to me is just it's the first new IP Blizzard have made in 17 years. I'm not sure what the last new IP was 17 years ago. Diablo, I guess, maybe? Possibly.
Maybe. I hear good things of that as well. I've never played it, but I've played a lot of games like it.
Yeah, I played Torchlight, and then I was like, well, that's my Diablo fix done for life. I don't know, once I got to the end of that, I was like, I don't see any appeal in the ridiculous grind that everybody else seems to buy into. I'm like, I finished the game, I beat the boss. What, I'm just supposed to keep going for better gear? Why? What is this? And I never quite got into that, the way some people do. But, yeah, I was kind of... I didn't realize how long it had been since Blizzard actually had done anything new, to be honest. I guess Warcraft, they've done Warcraft 1, 2, 3 expansions... And then World of Warcraft, StarCraft they've done StarCraft 2, Diablo announced Diablo 3. Yeah, they've been using the same franchises for a good time now.
And they've made a lot of money from them, so fair play.
Yeah, I suppose Hearthstone and Heroes of the Storm are both Warcraft universe as well. So yeah, I've been using the same IP for a long time.
Making that San Francisco rent money.
We went. No, don't drag it back there. You're the one causing gossip. You're the one doing it. I've solved the problem. You are our problem. You're the one causing video game gossip.
This is our 12th podcast, and you've only just worked out I'm the problem.
It's our 13th podcast, isn't it?
Yep, that's another piece of evidence here.
Yeah. So, yes, we discussed this one last week as well. I don't think Blizzard. I'm not sure Blizzard are based in San Francisco.
No, they're not. I'm sure
I know they're based in France somewhere. At least one bit of them.
Which big difference.
Well, they're very similar in many respects. I don't know.
They're just drinking their fancy wine in their chateau.
They are in California, actually. Oh, they're founded in California, it says. I'm just glancing at the Google thing. Blizzard's headquarters in Irvine, California. I don't know where that is. Is that close to San Francisco? Oh, it's a suburban city in Orange County, so that's not too far off LA, I guess. That's where they are.
Well, where the rich people are.
They are where the rich. Yeah, it's probably very, very competitive with San Francisco, to be quite honest.
Anyway, back to the game.
Anyway, back to the game. I don't want to get drawn into World of Warcraft again, but I've still got a lot of love for Blizzard and what they do. They do seem to make a lot of cool products. Hearthstone's great. I like Hearthstone. They do a lot of good stuff. So I'm very keen to see what new things arise, and I'd love to get in on Overwatch, definitely.
Oh, me too.
Also, I played plenty of TF2 back in the day, so a Blizzard take on the TF2 experience. Shit, yeah, I can go for that. That sounds pretty cool.
It looks pretty and it sounds interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's got a giant armoured gorilla as well.
What do you need in a game?
Yeah, what exactly? Although, I think it's the stealth characters, and the stealth character is a woman with a Cockney accent, which is just amazing.
Not a very stealthy accent.
It's not, no, but it's a very amusing character. It's like, I like that accent, I want to play as that character now, just so I can run around as a Cockney, because that's hilarious.
You've never been to London.
I have been to London on a few occasions. None of the Cockneys I've ever known were stealthy women stabbing people in the back, though. They were more Del Boy.
Oh dear.
Anyway, yeah. Something to keep an eye on. I like that. I like the look of this a lot. So yes, I would definitely like to get in on the beta. Someone made the comparison with the trailer. Michael, if you have not seen it, go see it. Go watch it. Because it's awesome. It's got a very kind of a Pixar kind of thing going on. They've got the animation they've made, the launch trailer. It's like 5 minutes long, a 5-minute short animation, but it's a really awesome animation that they've done for it.
In the comments on Polygon, they seem to be going with the Pixar thing.
Yeah, are they?
It's just under the it's under the GIF of George Bush looking very excited.
If that's the one you're talking about, that's Ron Paul. But are you talking about the "It's Happening" GIF?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah,
that's Ron Paul.
Okay, right. I apologise to George Bush or Paul, depending on which one is more.
Probably more to Ron Paul.
I apologise to everyone.
Yes, that's probably the safest option.
Sweeping apology.
There was an interesting, speaking of GIFs or GIFs or whatever the heck they're called, I still insist they're GIFs. There was a GIF I did see someone posted on Reddit, I guess it's like a few frames of the animation. I totally didn't pick up on it when I was watching it first time round. It was more interesting, shiny, special, flashy effects. So one of the women, she adjusts her goggles, and as she adjusts her goggles, the model of her character in the animation, her arse grows bigger.
Yeah.
It's like her butt size is controlled by her goggles, which is hilarious. It's like someone dropped the ball on the animation there slightly.
Sexism in games.
Yeah, it's clearly an artifact of, at some point someone was like, which body size should we use for the character? And I guess halfway through designing the animation, they decided, let's go with the one with the huge arse. People like huge arses, right? Because all gamers are misogynists and whatnot.
Yep, we love us a good arse.
So, yeah, but what about goggle adjustable arses?
It's the future.
Yep. Well, I suppose that is future technology. The arse setting on your goggles.
Yeah, we can't be held accountable for future technology, surely.
Buttermash Podcast is brought to you by
Arse
I don't
goggles.
even know how to react to that.
I was trying to think of a brand name.
Arse goggles, that's what they're called. They're arse goggles.
It is what it is.
Bottom Mesh Podcast brought to you by Arse Goggles.
The premium goggles for horses.
Yeah. The world's leading technology in arse adjustment.
Expect that advert next week, people.
Designed for your comfort.
That was delivered in an exceptionally well advert voice as well, actually. That was very good.
feel like your horse isn't quite filling the chair enough? Well, grab your goggles.
There's a big American audience there, then. Ooh.
Yeah, San Francisco.
I don't know how much more there is to say on that, because, well, yeah, that's just been announced, but...
I think the fact that we're talking about horse goggles means we've sufficiently covered it.
We have plumbed the depths of Overwatch at this point.
Next bit of news.
Next news. This one, I don't know how many people this affects. I guess there probably a few, maybe not us, but EA's answer to League of Legends and Dota and whatnot, Dawngate, they've cancelled that in the middle of beta, which is fairly dramatic, I would have said.
Cancelled it, gone forever?
Cancelled it. Well, I think they've given a 90-day countdown on it. It's like in 90 days they're going to shut it down.
Well, at least you get 90 days.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that one caught my attention because I never did get into it, but it was one I'd been getting into. I'd kind of said to myself, if I am to get into one of these ones, it's probably Dawngate because it looks the most interesting of all the MOBAs out there at the minute. League of Legends, Dota, they both got that notoriously ridiculously hardcore thing that's going on. It's like, oh, you need to suck at it for hours and hours and get abused by Russians for months on end before you get even remotely good at it. And yeah, Dawngate, they kind of had this, it always looked a little bit more accessible. They had their thing was break the meta was their tagline, and you know, in Dota and whatnot, every character's kind of got their fixed role within it. You've got certain characters are good at harassing people, certain characters are good at pushing the ads. I don't know all the roles. There's loads of roles, and they're all very, very specific. In Dawngate, it's like you pick a character and then you decide what you want your character to do, and every character was designed around the idea that they could all be good at any given role, and you choose which role you want to play. Which I quite like the sound of that, to be honest.
Yeah.
Interesting.
So I think, if nothing else, it's kind of nice to see someone trying to do something different with the formula, because there are a lot of League of Legends and Dota-style clones popping up all the time. There's lots of little companies trying their hand at creating the next MOBA, and none of them have the marketing budget. The reason the other ones work is because they're already... Well, okay, League of Legends, I guess, got there and did it best first, so they kind of got the market share to begin with. Valve can do it because they're Valve. Blizzard can do it because they're Blizzard. They've got the marketing behind it. EA, I would have said, could do it because they had the marketing behind it. And God knows I've seen plenty of Dawngate adverts around the internet. That's the one thing that keeps putting it in my mind. Their advertising campaign actually works. I keep seeing it. It's like, oh yeah, Dawngate. Every time I see the advert, I'm like, oh yeah, Dawngate. I need to get into that somewhere. I need to at least try that at some point. Yeah, Dawngate. That's a thing I should have a look at. I may actually have downloaded it at some point, but not installed it. I think that seems like a thing I've done, to be honest. I don't know if it's on Origin. I wonder if it's EA. I'd have thought it would be on Origin. I should probably have a look at it. I've got 90 days.
That's if you can remember your Origin password.
I've got my Origin thing set to auto login, so I should be alright.
Clearly didn't learn with Battle.net then.
Well, the Battle.net thing, I needed to log in through my web browser to do it, not the... I guess it probably can be done through the Battle.net interface, but when I clicked on the link to sign up for beta, it did through the web browser. It was like, oh, you need to log in here separately. I was like, oh, no, I need to remember this. I didn't particularly think to try the actual UI. It may be in there. Might be easier. I don't know. So yeah, it's kind of a shame to see something that's actually genuinely trying to do something different in the fields of MOBAs failing. Well, before it's even properly, launched. Gather it's been it entered closed beta about 18 months ago, and it's been in open beta for about 6 months now, which really hasn't been around all that long before they've then said, okay, we're closing shop. It's kind of a shame, really. So they say anybody who spent any money on it is entitled to a full refund as well. So that's right. Yeah, EA are surprisingly good for customer service these days, I will say. Say what you like about them. They do seem to be very good when it comes to giving customers their money back on things that are reasonable.
That's good form.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, can't really argue with it.
It's something they've got going on over Valve, to be honest. Valve won't do that. which is the one thing they do need to have. Well, obviously, if you're trying to compete with Valve, and they are, you do need to have an edge over them, and I think EA is going down the customer service route, which is honestly not the route you'd expect EA to go, given their past history. So yeah, I'm not sure. I guess it's just not performing as well as they'd hoped. It's like their statement was, although the game has grown, we're not seeing the progress we'd hoped for. Beta testing is about learning, improving, ultimately about making difficult decisions about how to proceed. So it's another notable game closed. The problem is, unlike the Blizzard Titan one, which when that got closed, it's like, oh, shame, we'd like to have seen a new Blizzard thing, but you tell some of that's been rolled into the Overwatch stuff, so we'll see elements of Titan in there, perhaps. Was it Titan? It was called Titan, right, wasn't it?
I don't know.
I feel like I've got the name wrong now. Something in the back of my mind was going, no, Blizzard's next-gen MMO was not called Titan, but I don't know. Well, correct me if I'm wrong. Blizzard's other MMO, yeah, I think elements of that got into there. But yeah, no one ever got to really see that or hear much about it, so it's kind of like no big loss. Here, you've got people who've probably been playing it for 18 months, and now they're told, well, nope, you can't keep playing it anymore. Sucks to be you.
Is that the way they phrased it?
Well, maybe not. There was also, I haven't actually got any links in our notes, it's just kind of something sprang to mind. There was also headlines that did the rounds this week, which there was a... I can't remember who did the ruling, some ruling authority body of people said, by the way, it's now totally legal to make games that are no longer available to play online. You can sort of reverse engineer servers and play games that have been shut down and keep maintaining them offline after maintaining an unofficial online service after the official online service has ended, although not applying that to MMOs. So, you know, all those old shooters that EA are like, oh, we can't afford to keep running the servers anymore. Sorry, you can't play this game anymore. It's now totally legal to start your own server. I don't know how many people are going to take that up on it. I don't know how big a thing that was. I don't know if there was a huge scene but trying to do that kind of thing. And if people I don't recall any stories of people getting stepped on for starting up their own unofficial servers after games closed or anything, but it's nice that that's there. So you never know, maybe you could possibly hope to see an unofficial Dawngate server hosting things later down the line with that one in mind. It'd be rather nice to see, I think.
Yeah, sounds good.
What else have we got? We have got GTA 5. This is an interesting one. GTA 5, the next gen versions, the PS4, Xbox One, and I believe the PC one as well, will be run in first person mode, or will be available to run in first person mode. Don't have to run it. It's kind of interesting because it wasn't first person before, and I don't. Has it ever been first person? I don't think they have. This is kind of a first person, if you will. Have you guys not seen this, or?
No, I'm afraid I haven't heard about this.
All right, I've heard about this from a few people who go like, "Oh my god, check out this GTA thing." They've kind of. It needs to be next gen because they need just the disk space and the resources for it. They've added more animations, more models and stuff. It's not as simple as just moving the camera to the player and just looking at it, because those animations are not designed to be viewed from a first-person perspective, and it looks like arse. So they've kind of had to properly design everything for a first-person perspective. There's a lot of detail. I mean, all the models and hands and stuff actually look rather good. I don't know how GTA is going to play from a first-person perspective, though, because a lot of... someone pointed out to me, obviously a lot of the combat's designed around, like, hiding behind walls and peeping over it and shooting it, and I don't know how... I can't think of many first-person based, cover-based shooters. Won't particularly spring to mind, because it doesn't work well in that format. I suppose, well, actually, the only ones like the things that spring to mind are things like Time Crisis, because then you've got to press pedal to stand up kind of thing.
Yeah.
That's not quite how GTA works.
No, Time Crisis and GTA are very different games.
Yeah. So yeah, the combat sounds weird. I suppose you just sort of step to the side and play it like you would any other FPS, but when a lot of the GTA gameplay is based around cover-based shooting and stuff, and looking over the stuff that you can see over the wall, but maybe your character otherwise couldn't, it's kind of a bit weird. Interesting to see how it plays out, mind. Will also be available in up to a 4K resolution on PC. Who's going to be able to run that? It's honestly my main thoughts on that. I mean, obviously, there's going to have higher texture resolutions and all the extra animations and stuff. And I have no idea how much a PC costs that could run a 4K resolution with reasonably high settings at 60 frames per second. That sort of PC sounds insane to me.
Let's put it like this: we're going to have to sell a lot of tinfoil.
Yes, we're going to need to sell a lot of tinfoil.
Get
wrapping your brains.
Or the arse goggles.
Arse goggles, yes.
I think that's the money ticket.
Yeah.
Space flamethrowers and arse goggles.
How about tinfoil wrapped arse goggles?
Wow.
My God, you hit the mother load.
That's innovation right there.
Welcome to the executive suite, Mr. Biggin.
Oh dear. So yeah, that's an interesting thing. Because I'd have no with that sort of next gen technology and stuff. It's like we seem to have really high end PCs still seem to have trouble running these kind of games at 1080. Never mind 4K. You sometimes see, I mean, a great example is like Total Biscuit, who's got like a $5,000 PC, and he's got these super next-gen games coming out on PC, and even at 1080, he's like sometimes still struggling to get reasonable frame rates out of it. It's like, I can't imagine anybody's going to be able to get a decent graphical quality and frame rate at 4K on anything. That's just obscene is what that is.
It's unnatural.
It's unnatural, yes. Who could handle such a thing? Not I. Not I. But yeah, that's an interesting. It's just going down a completely different route. So it'd be interesting to see how that differs gameplay wise, because obviously there's a lot. There's a dramatic change for the genre, or for the series. The other one is this is our gossip. We've got some gossip now. Let's do some gossip.
Gossip.
Right. So. Forgive me if you've not already seen the first bit of this been doing the rounds. It's been quite funny. The Slaughtering Grounds. Are you guys familiar with the Slaughtering Grounds?
No.
Okay.
No, prefer not.
Slaughtering Grounds, apparently this one slipped through our release schedule at some point. When I presume we should have at some point recently mentioned the launch of this, I guess. But I don't know. Maybe they didn't do much marketing beforehand. But at any rate, it is a really, really disastrously bad zombie survival first-person shooter thing that popped up on Steam in the last week or so, I guess. And it's one of those ones that are laughably bad. I mean, I'm trying to think what are the good comparisons. Are you familiar with Day One Gary's Incident?
No.
Guys of the Wolf?
No.
You guys have missed all the hilariously bad games. Air Control. Did you see Air Control?
No.
Oh dear. Okay, so those games are like these. I've all done the rounds just on how laughably bad they are. This game, it's just poorly made. It's not a very good game. And on its own, it would have just been very forgettable. People would have gone, "Oh, that's poor." It wouldn't have sold very well, and it would have just faded into obscurity. Jim Sterling, who is known for doing his Jimquisition stuff on The Escapist and has got a reasonably successful YouTube channel, took a look at this game on YouTube. And his format is, he kind of does, it's not really a review, it's not even really first impressions properly, it's what I would describe as blind first impressions, which is not really trying to be any kind of critique. I've described it to a lot of people as reasonably lazy content, and I'll be honest, I've done that kind of thing back in the past. I try to be a bit more professional about my content these days, but I have done this in the past, which is basically, I've never played this game before, I don't know what to expect, I'm going to fire up this game, start recording it, and tell people what I think about it for the first 20 to 30 minutes or so of it, and that's going to be my critique, quote-unquote, of it. And that's basically what he's done. He fired up the game, played it for about 10 minutes, laughed at all the things that were terrible in it, and was like, this doesn't work. Oh, I don't understand this. How does this work? This is bad. What does this do? And he was stumbling around, getting confused, and generally poking fun at all the terrible bits about the game. And yeah, on its own, it would have been a video that went out on his channel, and that's all that could possibly have been said for it if it had been left alone. It did not get left alone. The developers went after it. This was fun. So, so the developers of it created an entirely new YouTube channel called Review the Reviewers.
Oh dear, this is going to get very petty, isn't it?
Yeah, it gets really petty. They then took Jim's entire video, they just ripped it straight from YouTube, went and edited it themselves, didn't add any commentary to it themselves, all they did was add text, white text, over the front of everything that he said, mostly just insulting the guy for the most part. And just generally, they were trying to make out that he was a really bad critic of it, so the fact that he didn't do any research beforehand, they were calling him out on that, and the fact that he didn't understand things was like, oh, it's not like I bothered to read the tutorial because I'm a stupid idiot, I'm Jim Sterling. There's sort of shit all over the video, and there's just 10-11 minutes of this white text jabbing at Jim Sterling over and over again, how bad a job they felt he'd been doing of reviewing their game. And so that kind of went a little bit viral. And in and of itself, yeah, in and of itself, that's pretty funny, to be honest, because then Jim Sterling then took their video, ripped it from YouTube, and uploaded it with his own commentary. This time he actually used his voice, not just text, but he uploaded their video with his commentary over the top, kind of explaining himself, having a massive laugh at their ridiculous, basically just meltdown on YouTube, quite frankly. And yeah, though that was still pretty entertaining. It's still more entertaining. It's like, that's unnecessary bad press for the developer, but at the same time, it's still just funny for everybody else. Nobody's really going to hold it against them, other than to, like, how childish was that? That's a bit ridiculous. You should be a little bit more professional about that. And again, in this video, it's kind of made it clear. It's like, look, this is my format. This is how I do my format. The people who subscribe to me understand that this is my format. I'm going into this blind. I'm going to give you about 10 minutes of gameplay, and I'm going to tell you what I think about the gameplay over the top of it, bearing in mind that I've never seen this game before. This is how it works. Obviously, the reviewer, he was kind of trying to make out that Jim was being a bad reviewer because he hadn't played the game before he reviewed it. I was like, well, no, that's his format. That's what he does. I don't personally care for the format. I don't think it's a very good format, but I'm not going to stop him doing it. I mean, he's perfectly entitled to do what the hell he wants with his format, and people clearly are entertained by it. Personally, I don't think it's a great way to do review, but if you want to, that's fine. But, as long as you understand that that's what you're watching when you do it. That's then kind of been escalated with the developers have then used a DMCA takedown notice on his original video.
That's a step too far.
That is a step too far. If you're not familiar with this, if you're not up on your DMCA, that is the Digital Millennium Copyright Act, which is designed for taking down copyright infringement, basically. It's basically getting legal on his ass. It's basically saying, you have stolen my content, I am telling you to take it down or I will sue you. At which point the next step in the chain is that you can send a DMCA counter notice which says, I'm totally allowed to use this content, fuck you, take me to court. Is the layman's way of putting it. I believe that Jim Sterling, being partnered with Polaris, who are owned by Disney now, I think he's quite willing to take them to court over it.
This is becoming rather polluted, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, basically, there's the link that I have put in our notes that you guys can check out is basically him. It actually has the comment from the developer about what he did. It's like, his stance was, the DMCA filed is not to censor reviews. There are countless negative review videos posted, including multiple Sterling videos, and only one in particular with DMCA filed on it. The reason is, we have a legitimate claim, we can prove a violation of our copyright, fair use is not blanket immunity, in brackets, and damages. And I don't know, that doesn't seem like that makes a legitimate claim. I mean, it's saying...
It doesn't seem like it's going to stand up in court.
No. I mean, the fact is, if... I don't know where they're coming from. Either they don't want anybody to use their video at all, in which case the DMCA is fair. If the DMCA, to make the DMCA fair, they have to say nobody is allowed to make YouTube content of any of our videos. And in order to back that one up, they then need to do a takedown on every video that uses their game. Yeah, in order to make that one have any legal standing, they need to take down every video, positive and negative, about their game, and then they can back it up and put out a notice somewhere that says nobody is allowed to make YouTube content of our game. That's has some DMCA grounds. But when you take down get one video by one person of footage of your game and let everybody else go, suddenly you're singling someone out, and that's not a legitimate claim.
Yep.
So that won't stand up in court, and this is going to be hilarious. Someone pass the popcorn, please.
Yeah, this sounds particularly stupid on both ends, if I'm going to be honest.
On both ends, really. How do you reckon?
Oh, it's just like, I don't know. He made the counter video. I guess that was provocation, and I don't know. It just also
True, but
silly.
he'd already been provoked in itself. I mean, like I say, if it'd just been left go as he's gone, look at this game, isn't it shit? That would have been fine. I mean, nobody would look. A few tens of thousands of people would probably have seen it. Honestly, compared to the audience that there is on Steam, that's nothing anyway. Who gives a crap? Nobody's really going to ever notice it. Jim's, he's not Total Biscuit, he's not PewDiePie, he's not the biggest game critic on YouTube, and he's not the biggest game player on YouTube. He's like about 80,000 subscribers. He's not a huge channel, honestly speaking. If they'd let that one go, broadly speaking, in the grand scheme of things, nobody would have fucking seen the damn video. The fact that they've done all this and made it go viral, they're drawing attention to themselves. And then, yeah, the DMCA is too far. I mean, the games I brought up before, there was a Day One, the Gary's Incident, and Guys of the Wolf. The developers of those games, both went after Total Biscuit. After he did reviews of both those games, he took a look at them and went, he actually did his serious critique thing as well. I mean, he is the #1 game critic on YouTube, whose position I'm gunning after one day, inevitably. I'm coming
one
for you,
in,
TV.
one out.
I'm coming
Let's
for
not
you.
rock the boat.
Yeah. So yeah, he did his thing. He played the game. He played a few hours of both games and took a look at it, gathered his thoughts, and then put out a professional video saying, "I've taken a look at this game. Here is everything in no uncertain terms that's wrong with this game. Here is, if anything, what's right about these games. And here, my final thoughts are: you should totally not fucking buy this game. This is laughably bad. You could buy it if you want a good laugh, but beyond that, it's not going to be any good. This is disastrously bad. You should not be looking at buying this game." And both of those games, the developers did a DMCA takedown, which was just blatant censorship. Because with Gary's Incident as well, there were a lot of other people did negative videos, but they only went after the one. And it's like, well, you're shooting yourself in the foot by only going after the one, because it proves that you're just singling someone out.
Yeah.
And that's not what the law's for. The law is for genuine copyright infringement, not just so that you can silence someone who said they didn't like your work. That's not a good reason to do a DMCA takedown, and it's straight up an illegal reason to do a DMCA takedown. When someone files the counter notice, you can then back off and say, okay, no, just kidding, guys, yeah, we're not really going to do a takedown, it's alright, no harm, no foul. You can back off at that point, and that's fair enough. But as I say, with the developer of the Slaughtering Grounds, they've kind of said, no, we are taking you to court. So it's like, oh, this is going to be good.
Well, we're going to have to keep our eyes on that one.
Yeah.
No death threats, at least.
That's
Well,
a positive,
no.
yeah.
That's yes, I suppose. Nobody threatened to kill Gabe Newell over this one. Or even Jim Sterling, which is surprising, because you guys need to go watch that video, because at least the foot. No, you want to watch the video. Watch the counter video that Jim Sterling did, because it's got Jim Sterling's commentary, which is pretty good, and it's got the text from the developer, so you get his commentary about the developer's meltdown on YouTube, which is pretty funny, all things considered.
I'm totally watching this after the podcast.
Yeah, I think I might have to give this a glance over.
So yeah, that's. I guess the original video you can't find because it's been taken down by the developers. So there's that.
Which is sad.
So yep, that's kind of. Is that gossip or is that just, I don't know?
I think it's a combination of news and gossip.
It's towing the line into gossip at this point.
It's nossip.
It's not. Okay, sure. Is that what we're just going to call the segment from now on? This is just the nossip section.
Yep.
Okay. Great.
We created a word and arse goggles. We are heroes.
Tinfoil arse goggles, the premium one. That's the day one DLC.
That's an extra £50 though for the tinfoil.
Yeah. Well, you have to buy the season pass. just to allow you access to buy the DLC.
Use the tinfoil.
And if you want to keep the tinfoil active, you have to pay microtransactions on a regular basis.
Onto a moneymaker here, lads. Onto a moneymaker.
Whilst we're on this, I know someone mentioned this a few weeks back. Someone mentioned, because it was relevant, South Park. Have you guys actually seen this week's South Park?
No, I haven't.
No, I haven't.
Oh, it's entirely poking fun at freemium games. And just crappy mobile games with microtransactions and shit. It's quite entertaining. It's quite worth watching. I mean, it's not been... I don't know why there seem to be groups out there that just like review TV shows. It has not been... I don't think it was well reviewed, but from the perspective of a gamer, I thought it was quite entertaining. So, yeah.
Sweet.
Go watch that. That's fun. Button Mash Podcast, sponsored by South Park. South Park arse goggles.
We're doing alright. We've got about 5 sponsors out tonight.
I know, right?
We're moving on.
And we are moving on to another section, because that is our news. We've been through that surprisingly fast, actually. I didn't expect to get through news so much. There was not so much to talk about. Just interesting that they're there, but maybe not a lot to say about them. But yes, new games. I think new releases for the week.
And now, new games and releases.
That's a jingle, is it?
It's an attempt at a jingle. I don't know if we'll be sticking with it.
Okay. What date are we on? We are on... I suppose because we're recording this on the wrong day, I've got yesterday's releases as well, I suppose, to do as well. That normally... I don't know, when we've gone through the games, I'm kind of... Obviously, we're looking at upcoming games, and we're now a day behind on everything. Which means people are going to miss out on a whole day's worth of gaming.
God.
Oh my god! Have you seen what's in this week's releases? I've not seen this before, and it's
No.
extremely appropriate.
What? What's that?
Gone yet?
Oh no, on the giant bomb list.
You can tell our professionalism here, ladies and gentlemen.
Second line down, on the right. Do I need to spoil it for you? It's
No,
very,
we
very
need to-
appropriate given our theme tune for the week.
Not the Adventures of Arsgoggles, is it?
It's not the Adventures of Arse Goggles, because we didn't have an Arse Goggles theme tune this week.
Well, I will get on that.
Okay, well, there is a Digimon game out this week, I will say that much.
Oh dear. Here we go.
Our precognition precedes us. So let's start at the beginning then. We've got to have Smash Team. Which I won't lie, that looks a lot like it's Mega Man. This is an upcoming action platform shooter inspired by Mega Man X and Super Smash Bros. There's very little more on it. There isn't even any pictures on it, so I can't say any more. That is available on all the things by the looks of things, though. That's interesting. Why is this on the new release list? Actually, that's interesting. It shows up on November 11th, but when you click on it, it says coming March 1st, 2015.
That's kind of a bit of a difference.
Yeah, just a little bit. On PC, iPhone, iPad, Android, Wii U, browser, and Ouya. Which is, going for the whole, the bingo, basically, at that point. So, yeah, that's may not be out. I'm not sure whether that's out or what. Who knows?
It may or may not be out. We're not sure yet.
It may or may not be out. We have Ascreed. The new Ascreed is out.
Unity.
Ascreed Unity, which is the French one. So if you want to be a French assassin instead of a pirate assassin, which I honestly can't see the appeal or advantage of wanting to be a French assassin over a pirate assassin. The pirate is clearly superior.
Well, maybe you get better food.
Well, the pirate has grog, so no. Just saying.
But does he have a baguette?
Or pan au chocolat.
Had they invented that in French Revolutionary times?
Does he have an out?
That's what got them through the revolution.
Let them eat pan au chocolat.
If they'd had pan au chocolat, there wouldn't have been a French Revolution.
This is possibly true. So this is... I haven't played any of the Assassin's Creed stuff. I think Assassin's Creed 4 keeps coming slowly down in price, and every time it gets a little bit low, I'm quite tempted by that because pirates. But I don't know. It doesn't appeal
And
to me.
climbing things.
Yeah, I suppose there's the climbing things element. Yes, this is true.
You'll love you some climbing.
No, the thing that doesn't appeal to me about that is kind of it's scripted climbing. It's like here's a list of predetermined places that you can climb. It's like when it's a bit more freeform, it's like climb on all the things, even if they don't want me to.
I don't know. I played the first 3 games, and you can pretty much climb on every building.
Yeah, but they want you to. That's the point. Is like they put ledges and things strategically so that you can climb on all the buildings. Whereas, you know, something in WildStar is like they don't want to be climbing on top of that tower, but by God, I'm going to do it. Or something like Time Rifters. I mean, I could literally climb out of the level because they didn't stop me. It was like I literally broke the game. It's like I couldn't. Well, you could unbreak it, but you literally fell out of the level and landed on some weird rainbow bridge. And it's like, yeah, I'm not supposed to do this, but this is awesome because I've broken the game by climbing out of it onto things that I'm not supposed to. That's what I like doing about climbing on things, getting to awesome stuff. When the game says, here's a bunch of boxes, why don't you climb on all these boxes? I'm like, but you want me to. It's more fun when you don't want me to climb on the boxes. That's the thing.
There's no pleasing some people, is there, Will?
No. Parkour!
It's parkour, that's the thing. I mean, if it wasn't a flabby, unathletic mess, I would totally be into parkour IRL. Because that's the kind of, it's like, yeah, they don't want you running across the rooftops, but guess what? Those people are going to go do that. Yeah, I just do that in virtual worlds instead. I'm a fat, lazy parkourist.
I worry so much.
So, yeah, I'm probably not going to be picking up Assassin's Creed Unity, but I'm quite sure a great many people will. I may one day delve into Assassin's Creed 4.
Maybe one day.
Maybe one day. Oh, this is the co-op one as well, isn't it? This is the one where you can run around with other people and stab them. Which is totally unique and innovative, and not the same thing they've been doing for the last 7 games. We have, on November 11th for Vita, we have Tales of Hearts R. A strange name. Which is a remake of Tales of Hearts for DS, which I imagine must be part of the Tales franchise, which honestly I haven't played any of that in probably about 10 years now, to be honest. But oh no, that's not true. No, I played Tales of Vesperia on the 360. So I'm not really that well engaged with the Tales series, but it's an entertaining little JRPG romp. It's kind of, I don't know if you guys have played, it's kind of, their combat system is usually a lot more freeform, fluid, it's kind of real-time, as opposed to Final Fantasy's kind of take turns to press buttons kind of job. It's a lot more cool. I like the combat, it's fun. We have, I don't know what this is, There's 2 of these here, they both look like the same thing, and they're both depressing.
Yeah, there isn't too much difference, it would appear.
There is, for Nintendo 3DS, there is Sonic Boom Shattered Crystal, which is a Sonic game.
Which has to do with a crystal, I imagine.
Yes, and this is the partner game to the other game out on the same day, which is Sonic Boom Rise of Lyric for the Wii U.
Which is about a song lyric, I guess.
Which is just probably an excuse to get you to buy 2 games instead of 1. Because you need to buy both of them to work together, right guys?
Who will fall for such an obvious trick?
Hopefully the Nintendo console owners, because that's who they're being sold to. So, I don't know whether this is kind of, I don't know where Sonic's going these days. I mean, some people say some of the recent ones haven't been awful, but at the same time, I mean, Sonic Generations was supposed to be pretty okay, and Sonic Colors on the Wii or Wii U, I don't know which one of the 2, was supposed to be pretty okay, but I don't know. Those don't look inspiring. There are more new characters on the cover that I've never seen before, which is always a sure sign of terrible things. When they're introducing more people as if they didn't have enough. There's that.
Yeah.
Oh, we have more Ass Creed. We've got Ass Creed Rogue, which takes place during the 7 Years' War. I don't even know anything. I don't know anything about the 7 Years' War.
There was a war that lasted 7 years.
kind of had inferred that much, yes. That's about all I got, though.
Hey, I'm just stating the bleeding obvious.
It was in and around the American colonies. Honestly, I don't think I've heard anything about this game. This is on PS3, 360, and PC. Is this something that's already... Is this like... I don't know. Is this something that's already been out on something else and they've ported it to this format or something? Or what's going on here? Because obviously, Unity's out on the same day, so... For them to do two new Assassin's Creed games on the same day... I'm really hoping one of you two keeps a better eye on AAA games than I do, because this has slipped me by.
Yeah, I can't really comment too much on this. It seems to have passed me by.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably more Assassin's Creed. There's probably something that could be said for it.
Yep.
I don't, in what way it differs to Unity and why it's out on the same day as Unity, I don't know. I guess is Unity next gen will probably be the thing. Yeah, the Unity's obviously next gen one, and Rogue's kind of your last gen one.
I think Rogue's a re-release for the PS3.
No, it's the other way around. Rogue's next gen.
Is it?
Yeah, it says in the overview.
Really? Because it says it's for Xbox 360 and PS3, which doesn't sound next gen.
Oh no, yeah, I'm reading it wrong. Sorry.
Yeah, Unity's for PS4 and Xbox One.
Oh yeah. While Rogue was being developed, a completely different game was being developed simultaneously for PC, PS4. Okay, fair enough. I did not know they'd been doing that. That one's news to me.
Hey, the more
There you
you
go.
know.
That's an interesting strategy for them to do. I mean, it's like, okay, we're releasing another Assassin's Creed game, but not everybody's upgraded to the next console yet, so we'll do something entirely else for the other market. It's kind of cool, but okay. I don't know how we've skipped over that. There's a rather major one. You guys didn't go, hang on, you've missed that one. Why did we miss this one? Halo's out.
Nah.
Oh,
Halo's a pretty big deal, I guess.
yeah.
So Halo the Master Chief Collection, which is all the Halos.
All the Halos.
Which is Halo, the enhanced version of Halo Combat Evolved, so the Anniversary Edition they put out a couple years back. Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, which is the glorious, pretty new version of Halo 2. Halo 3 and Halo 4 all on one disc, or one download, or whatever. I presume it's probably not discs these days.
Nah, probably not.
I don't know, it's just, for me, that's them trying to sell the same shit over and over again. I have Halo 3, I can still play Halo 3. I have Halo 4, I can still play Halo 4. I bought Combat Evolved Anniversary, I can still play that. I'm not really all that sold on having the high-def version of Halo 2. I can probably live without it. Sorry.
Don't say things like that.
It's kind of, I mean... Honestly, Halo 4 wasn't all that. I'm not into Halo so much anymore. Halo 3 was good. Halo Reach was great. Halo ODST was very good. Can we have more of those? I like those. But no. No, we will get all the old games over and over again. Plus Master Chief in more exciting and different scenarios that aren't that exciting and different. Oh, and plus press X to win the game. Let's not forget about that one.
Yeah, key detail.
I don't know if you guys caught that little ending to Halo 4. No?
No,
Don't play Halo.
No, Halo 4 genuinely, honest to God, ended on press X to win the game. The final boss was a QuickTime event. Jesus Christ, guys, you couldn't do any better than that. Halo's never had particularly spectacular endings, to be honest. They always Halo 1 wasn't bad, actually. There's no real boss to speak of, but it was a pretty good ending. Halo 3 kind of did tribute to it, and yeah, beyond that, I don't know, it's never been amazing. But Halo 4 is definitely a low point, where it's just like, yes, you're in an epic struggle for victory with the final boss, press X to kill him. It's like, oh, for God's sake, no. What? Seriously?
You can't complain it's too difficult.
Well, no, but I would like to at least get to fight the guy.
I don't know, you want the world, don't you?
If it's been setting up... If I've been playing the game for the last 10 hours or whatever, and it's been setting up this epic confrontation with the big bad guy, I don't want it to be one button ends the game. But there you go. If you like buying Halo things, you can buy it again.
Yep.
Says the hardened cynic in me.
Yeah, slightly cynical, I don't.
Digimon! Digimon is out!
Digimon, digital monsters, Digimon are the champions.
Yay. So, apparently that's still around. That's still a thing. Who knew?
This must be a re-release, surely.
Maybe? I don't know. Digimon All-Star Rumble returns to the world of Digimon to the fast-paced fighting game genre. I don't know. I think they're hoping people remember nostalgia or something and want to cash in on a dying franchise, maybe? I don't know. It's like oh, it returns the world of Digimon. And it's like, really? I don't think there's been anything in the Digimon franchise for some time. Has there? Unless I'm very much mistaken.
I'm not down with the kids anymore, so I couldn't really tell you.
I don't know. I feel like it's kind of lived on in maybe like card games and stuff in the background that nobody plays.
What, the legend lives.
The Legend of Digimon from the IP. There probably is a Digimon card game that's been simmering away for the last 10, 15 years.
Still kicking about.
There have been many Digimon mangas.
Ooh.
Many Digimon mangas, actually, quite a lot.
So many mangas.
Actually, looking at the wiki articles, probably quite a lot of stuff you probably never knew existed in the world of Digimon.
Oh, I imagine it's probably big in Japan.
Could be. On November 11th, again, we have Minecraft.
The Vita version.
The Vita version, indeed. Which, again, I think is an entirely different version again to all the other ones. I think they've changed it up a bit for the Vita version. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't know what that is at this point. My mum knows what Minecraft is.
I don't.
Does she think it's for Nintendo?
I don't know, probably. Everything was for Nintendo.
Yep.
You might be able to forgive us if we don't go into too much detail about that one.
We have Senran Kagura Bon Appetit.
Well done.
Yeah, I was wondering how you were going to pronounce that.
Because I feel like I've heard the name somewhere before, I can't for the life of me think what the hell it is, though. Oh, XC. Oh, right. Oh, yes. I think I've. There's like the developer of Reciteer kind of tweets a lot of weird indie Japanese crazy things, and I think that name's probably popped up a few times from him on my Twitter feed. Designed by Marvelous Entertainment, who, what the hell did they do? They made something that I can remember. I can't blame them.
Clearly.
I'm thinking they're Harvest Moon, right? They are, yes, they did Harvest Moon.
Oh, well remembered. I have to take back my insult.
Oh yeah, so it's the guys who made Harvest Moon, and localized by Xseed, is a music rhythm game set against the backdrop of a cooking competition. So that's
yeah.
I don't know. Cook Serve Dance Dance Revolution. I don't know.
It's a very weird concept.
We have Valkyria Chronicles comes to PC, which is kind of an interesting one. I don't know. It's something that always looked interesting to me on PS3 when it came out in 2008, and I never did get around to actually playing that, to be quite honest. So I wouldn't necessarily object to checking that out on PC now that it's out. So these are the guys who made Skies of Arcadia, by the way. So that's a very good team. This is kind of a turn-based strategy RPG thing. I think it's been compared a lot to Final Fantasy Tactics, which, as you know, I've played a ridiculous amount of. So I don't know. It could be a thing for me to check out. Although, in spite of it being set in this sort of backdrop of war and whatnot, and being a bit darker, it apparently still has the same kind of weird sort of JRPG tropes and stuff. It's like a bit strange. I don't know. Something interesting at any rate. I had not expected to see that one on PC, to be quite honest. That kind of caught me off guard. I have Retro City Rampage, which is actually a re-release of last year. That's been doing the rounds for a little bit. That is deliberately retro parody of video games and pop culture from the era of 8-bit games consoles. So it's kind of a parody of the old GTA style games. I mean, hell, the box art is someone carjacking the Doc in his DeLorean.
What has the Doc done to deserve this?
I don't know. Apparently something.
I'm not sure I can handle the fact he's being robbed by John Travolta from Greece.
I think that is the nature of the game, yeah. I seem to recall it got pretty well acclaimed, so... Never checked it out myself, though.
Or not.
We have, on November 18th, Nano Assault Neo. Don't know what this is. Barely know anything about it. Twin-stick shooter from Shinen. A sequel to the 3DS game Nano Assault. For Wii U and PS4. Terraria. That's another game probably don't need to say a whole heck of a lot about.
Coming to the PS4, so...
Coming indeed to the PS4. I imagine, again, many people probably will be fairly familiar with the concept of Terraria.
I do love Terraria.
It was a very good game. I believe it had a lot of content added to it fairly recently as well, actually, didn't it?
Ooh, I may go back to it then.
It's like version 1.3 now. It seems like the updates for it are like so sporadic that it's like every time it comes back it's like it's a major deal. It's kind of... Seems like they're going for the Minecraft thing, but not quite as frequent.
In the early days, they had a ton of new content all the time. It was brilliant.
Really?
Yeah.
How come they're only on like 1.3 then?
I don't know.
What was their sort of version conventions and numbering and whatnot in the first? Because I remember 1.2 coming out, which was kind of, I think I got into it around 1.2, and I was like, oh, they've added all this ridiculous amount of new content, and everyone kind of got back into it, and someone dragged me into it. I think it's like Sunil dragged me into it or something, and we started playing it, and yeah, we there's probably, I think there's some footage on the YouTube channel way back when that we did a bunch of Terraria. I think that was a lot of the live stream stuff we did actually when we did do live streams. Yeah.
Sure, did get in on that.
I'll say we got in around 1.2 and then it's been quiet, and I seem to recall the Terraria developers at one point there was an announcement that said, okay, we're stopping development on Terraria and we're going to go off and work on something entirely new now. And then 1.3 came out and I was like, hang on, didn't you guys stop working on this?
Apparently not.
Apparently not, no. So Terraria, that's still knocking around. Lego Batman.
3.
Lego Batman 3, indeed. Lego Batman 3 Beyond Gotham.
I did not know he was on his third game.
This is out on all the things as well. So that's on 360, PS3, PC, DS, Vita, Wii U, the Bone, the PS4. It's on all the things. If you want Lego Batman, you can have Lego Batman. Feel free to have Lego Batman. It's probably very similar to much of the other Lego stuff, if we're honest. But that's not necessarily a bad thing. The Lego game's pretty decent. We have Pro Evo Soccer 2015. No one? No one?
No.
Not even Michael? Is Michael there? I think that sounded like he might have just done a runner, actually. I've not said anything. No. We have no interest in soccer, even from the man who plays Football Manager. Here he is, he's back, isn't he?
Yes, he's here. Sorry.
we were just talking football.
Oh yeah, the one moment where I have to.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Pro Evo Soccer 2015. Any interest?
It's FIFA's poor cousin, so I can't really imagine too much interest.
Fair enough.
Well,
they still make them on a yearly basis. Someone out there must be buying them.
No, I think this next game. Wow, that's a winner.
Get Off My Lawn. We're looking at this because this is on the Steam store as well. I was looking at this earlier. It looks a lot like Plants vs. Zombies. It is a free-to-play lane defense game. It's not tower defense, it's lane defense, which makes it sound really, really Plants vs. Zombies. However, the video of it makes it look like it's just one old dude with a shotgun shooting aliens on his lawn. So I don't know how close it is to Plants vs. Zombies, but there you go.
Did you see him in the Alien game by any chance, Will? This old dude.
No.
The old dude was sitting around with a shotgun shooting aliens.
It looks like it'd be useful to have in a fight.
He doesn't have a flamethrower, though.
Who needs a flamethrower when you've got a shotgun?
What if you had a flame-throwing shotgun?
Wrapped in tinfoil.
Wrapped in tinfoil.
Then you're unstoppable.
And the old dude's wearing arse goggles.
And he's God at this point.
Basically. Anyway, we have a Run Ring Circus for the Vita and iPhone. A circus-themed action puzzle game. That's all we got. Don't know anymore.
The world was crying out for one.
I know. We have Chariot, which is this will be out on Steam. That's actually something we're going to look at. That was on the list as well to look at on Steam things. Is a drop-in, drop-out couch co-op platformer. I like drop-in, drop-out. That's cool. It's always nice when people actually do that. I don't see that terribly often. I was playing. Actually, earlier today I was playing a little spot of Blaze Rush. That's got drop in and drop out, and that actually works. You know, you can literally just join a game mid-race and drop in and drop out mid-race. If you turn your controller off, the character will just disappear. If you turn the controller on, a character will just appear on the track. I like that as a concept. I wish more developers would do multiplayer that way, because it's pretty cool.
Good.
I don't know much more about this, though. It's platforming. It's not racing. Racing works really well as drop-in, drop-out. I don't know how well platforming will work. I suppose I don't see any reason why it couldn't, but when you think about it, it sounds more like the way Tails might work in Sonic 2. Potentially.
You're really selling it to me there.
I know, so no, yeah, I know. It's kind of a concern of mine. It's like, if you say drop-in, drop-out platforming, it's like, is player 2 going to be Tails? Because that's not a selling point. But I don't know. Mere speculation at this point. A World of Keflings will be on Wii U on November 13th.
I can't wait.
Which was a... I don't quite get how this is going to work on Wii, I guess, because it was originally the XBLA strategy game, which involved the XBLA avatars. Everybody was forced to create an avatar. I don't know. Maybe are they just using the Miis for the Wii or something? Maybe.
There must be, because how else would do it?
At the same time, when you actually look at like the box art, it's still showing like the Xbox avatars and stuff. It's like, I guess it must use the Miis, but I don't know. A little bit strange. Like, it can't in any way, in any sense, use the Xbox avatars on the Wii, because that would just be... I don't think Microsoft would allow it, more so than anything else.
It would be a very odd crossover.
It would. We have, Pokemon trading card game. Because that doesn't already exist.
No, I've never heard of a Pokemon trading card game before.
No, this is a re-release of the Game Boy Color game, being re-released on the Nintendo Store from December 1998.
Blimey, that's quite a while back.
Ooh, this next one's interesting. Tengami! Tengami is a kind of a point-and-click puzzle thing set in a 3D pop-up book world. And that's coming out on Wii U. And I played that. I played that at a bunch of things, actually. I played that when we were at Rezzed a couple of years back, and I played it at PAX as well. It's a very charming game. It's got a great style going on. It's very nice. I've not really kept track of its release. If it's on PC, I think it may be on PC, and I've totally missed it, to be honest, and I probably should have bought it by now, but this is by Nyam Yam, who are a two-person team, and very nice people. It's a very nice game. I think that's something I'm going to have a look on Steam and see if that's for sale after this is over. This reminds me that I need to probably buy this game.
It's out on Wii U on November the 13th.
It is indeed, and already out on a bunch of other stuff. I think the reason I didn't catch it initially because it was an iOS launch originally. It was iPad and iPhone to begin with, and the PC launch came a little bit later down the line. If it came out, I mean, I presume it must have by now. I'm going to have to check the store page to find out. That said, maybe they launched on PC but actually weren't on Steam. So I don't know. Maybe they didn't. No, if you type Tengami into Steam, it brings up nothing. So I guess it's not. Maybe it's on maybe they've done their own launch elsewhere somewhere, but it's not on Steam yet. I don't know. That may be why I've never heard of it on PC. We have Picross. Yes, we have Picross E5, the fifth in the series of Picross games from Jupiter for the Nintendo 3DS eShop. Anyone do you know what this is? I don't know what this is.
Not a clue.
I think it's some manner of puzzle game, to be honest, but I really don't know a lot about it, and the screenshots are terribly unhelpful, so it must be doing pretty well. That's the fifth game. Sorry?
Lots of Excuma.
Oh, yeah, if you want to pronounce it that. How did you pronounce that?
Lots of Excuma.
Excuma? Excuse me?
I think I might be adding vowels.
Lords of Xulima. Exculma. Zulima? Is it Zulima? I don't know.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Doctor with that.
Is a 2D isometric turn-based CRPG with the depth and challenge of old-school RPGs, but more modern, intuitive interface. I don't know a lot about it. Not heard of it. It's unpronounceable. That's all we know. Should we leave it at that?
Moving swiftly onto Steam.
It's unpronounceable. We don't know. Let's look at Steam.
Just imagine 3 people shrugging at this point. That's
Yeah.
all you need to know.
We have Desert Ashes, a turn-based strategy game with online multiplayer and single-player campaigns. With a seems to have a big thing about its day and night system. It's got that in big bold text all over the place. It looks a lot. To say it's a turn-based strategy, it looks. Oh my god! You know what this looks like?
What does it look like?
It looks like Advance Wars.
Oh, real?
It's got that same top-down RPG Maker kind of perspective, but then it's kind of got this. The combat looks so much like Advance Wars. It's kind of got the 2 armies facing off against each other, and then one shooting, and then it pans to the opposite army on whatever terrain they're on, and rains down the attacks on them, and the irrelevant people are removed from the battlefield. It looks a lot like Advance Wars, actually. That's kind of cool. That might well be worth looking at, actually. I'd not picked up on this one, but that's actually, I like the look of that now. I've not played any Advance Wars in a very long time, but it was a very good game.
They found a customer.
It's Advance Wars with a day-night system.
Well,
Whatever difference that would make to things. Yeah. We have Magnetic by Nature, a fast-paced single-player adventure mixing fluid emotion, split-second decision-making, stylized machine-age visuals, and a dynamic soundscape. Sounds very high concept.
Yep.
Have we already looked at this? I feel like we've already looked at this.
I don't remember if we have.
I remember that screenshot. I feel like we may have looked at this last week.
I don't think we talked about this, but it does look like a lot of other things that we've talked about.
It looks a lot like Elegy for a Dead World.
I think we discussed that not too long ago.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what's ringing a bell. It looks a lot like Elegy. So I feel like we probably haven't mentioned that. Maybe this one has been pushed back a week or so at some stage. So, looks pretty. Why So Evil?
Well,
Ugh, this sounds like... Yeah, this one... very good. This sounds horrible to me. This sounds like my idea of hell. No saving, no checkpoints, no mercy. 50 levels of pure evil, trapped secrets, and a lot of ways to die. About the game, it's hard, really hard, incredibly hard. No saving, no checkpoints. The game is pure evil. It will find a way to kill you on every move. It's not if you can beat it, but how far you can get. We feel like gamers deserve some real challenge after playing games that hold your hand and show you every little secret for years and years, or to save every 5 minutes and try to appeal to masses by being noob-friendly. So we're going to make a game that nobody wants to play because it's too hard. Good decision choice, guys. Good business decision there.
well, when the murder rate in this country goes up, we know who to blame.
Well, pro tip here, guys. It's not working for Carbine. So, yeah. This is presumably a Rage game. It looks and sounds a lot like a Rage game. It's designed...
To piss you off, basically.
I think it's designed in the hopes that it's going to get a PewDiePie Rage video out of it, and they can sell it to PewDiePie's audience. Which seems to be the main objective of Rage games, for the most part.
To upset PewDiePie.
Just to get the YouTube views so that they can get the marketing that way, because people love to see people raging at games on YouTube, so why not make a game about making people rage? And I just refuse to play that shit, so I'm just like, you know what? No, fuck this. I got better things to do with my time. And they get angry about cubes rolling around a really frustrating landscape. Fuck that cube, I'm going to go play WildStar.
Yeah, sounds fair enough to me.
We have Elliot Quest, which is a pixel art looking adventure RPG kind of thing. 2D platformer, looks vaguely Greek.
I'm sorry.
It's got lots of pillars and togas and things by the looks of things. kind of Greek architecture kind of thing going on.
Okay, I wondered where the hell you were going with that.
Yeah, just like ancient Greek architecture kind of style going on. It doesn't seem to. They never seem to kind of mention it, but it kind of just looks like it. So
I think we should take solace and some pride in this. I haven't had to use the disclaimer yet.
right. Well, it's got to happen one week. It'd be nice to some people.
We've got another 20 minutes left. Try not to screw it up.
Yeah, that's a platformer. I don't know a lot about it. It didn't look terribly inspiring, but the style looked fairly pleasant. We have Toy Box Turbos, which looks very, very much like what was that? Oh, I played a racing game recently. I can't for the life remember what it was called now, which is really annoying. There was something about toys as well, for the love of God. Come on, Steam, don't fail me now. Something about toys, right? Super Toy Cars, that's right, that's the one.
I'm impressed you actually found that.
It does type toy into the search and it found it.
You have heard.
So it looks a lot like Super Toy Cars, which is kind of a top-down toy cars driving around tabletops and kitchens and various household objects. Small arcadey kind of little fun racing game. This is by Codemasters, who obviously do have a good track record of making a ridiculous amount of racing games over the years. They've done a whole lot of racing, so it's a very different style for them. They normally go for the more gritty realism kind of things, your rally racing kind of stuff. Whereas this is obviously a much more silly, close to your Mario Kart kind of thing, I guess.
Well, credits them for trying something new.
It looks potentially a little bit more polished than Super Toy Cars, if I'm honest, but there you go. I don't know. It may not be. It may be a complete pile of crap. I don't know. Disclaimer, I have no idea what I'm talking about. We're just going off screenshots and trailers here. We ain't reviewed these.
Nope, it's not our style.
We have Deadlings Rotten Edition, an arcade side-scroller with strategy elements. I really don't know what this is. It looks like this could be a rage game as well, to be honest. It's got lots of spikes and saws and things.
It looks like Super Meat Boy.
It does look a bit Super Meat Boy, yes, except with more zombies. 70 levels of pure zombie gore fun. Includes a nightmare mode for only hardcore players. It does look very much like it's going for the Super Meat Boy angle, to be quite honest.
Is there a line on the bottom saying, PewDiePie, you know you want to play?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, the box quote they've got at the top of the page is an awesome cross between Tough as Nails platformer Super Meat Boy and a more strategic zombie affair like Plants vs. Zombies. I have no idea how that even works, but okay. So yeah, Meat Boy meets Plants vs. Zombies.
Sounds good.
Potentially. Space Hulk. Will, you tell us about this because you were oohing and ahhing.
Yeah, I was doing an iron because I forgot when Deathwing was coming out, and that's next year. So this is kind of to fill in the space between normal Space Hulk and, the proper one when Deathwing comes out.
I know very little about it, so what are we looking at?
All right, you're looking at the Warhammer 40k universe. Space Hulk is basically about Terminators, which are superhuman people inside walkable tanks with huge guns, going aboard derelict spaceships to fight gene stealers, which are like the Warhammer equivalent of Alien from Alien. And I think it's a turn-based strategy, top-down dealy. And I've played Space Hulk. It's pretty fun, but I'm really looking forward to Deathwing.
I'll say, I mean, I did see a video of it at one point. Was the original Space Hulk not like a weird card-based board game kind of thing? Yeah?
It was a board game, yeah.
Right.
Which was re-released rather recently.
Mm-hmm.
With new figures, because that's what Warhammer like to do.
Okay then.
They like to sculpt shiny new figures that are even more detailed and more expensive.
Right, fair enough. Okay, got Deadstone. This is, I don't know, something about space, is it? No. Based on the inhospitable frontier world of Mars. top-down shooter-looking kind of thing, although it has been tagged as tower defense. So, that kind of all the screenshots kind of it looks like more like I don't know. It's a top-down shooter. You're running around shooting aliens, but
Yeah, it looks like you have more control over what you're shooting than a normal tower-based defense.
Yeah, I'm not seeing any towers, quite frankly. I'm just seeing people running around shooting stuff. So I don't know how that works. But okay. We have Amphora. Is that not like a vase? Okay, the logo has a vase in it, so yeah, it probably is a vase.
Oh, it has a vase.
So Amphora is a puzzle game that mixes story elements and physics, presents you an unfamiliar world with a striking visual style inspired by the shadow theatre traditions and colours of the world.
It does look quite pretty.
It does look very pretty, actually. Yes, I'm rather liking the look of this a lot. It's a gorgeous looking game. It's extremely colourful.
Yeah, but does it play well? I buy a lot of pretty games, and then I'm really disappointed.
Well, I don't know. I shall have to have a look at this, maybe. See if it stands up. I don't know. I'm very intrigued by the look of it, because that's absolutely gorgeous, that thing is.
Yeah.
We have Sneaky Sneaky. Sneaky Sneaky is about sneaking, I think. Possibly. It looks like... I mean, I'm looking at the screenshots. It looks a lot like another game that's in early access at the minute, called Sproggywood. I don't know whether it is like Sproggywood, but it looks a lot like it. Which is a kind of a roguelike kind of thing. I don't know if this is necessarily the same kind of thing, to be honest, but... a mixture of stealth and tactical gameplay, so you got to try and sneak your way through a grid-based environment without things spotting you. Potentially interesting, I don't know.
Well, if you like sneaking, this is the game for you.
Yes. Obviously, on Wednesday we have Randall's Monday. Already talked a bit about that one.
Yep, I think we
on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Randall. Yeah, they missed a trick not launching on a Monday, didn't they? So yeah, if people would like to check that one out, where can they go find that review, Michael?
I don't know, somewhere on YouTube. It's names escaped me.
It's youtube.com/PewDiePie.
Yep, you know where you're going.
No, that was well, yeah, that is out on my channel. I didn't put my review out on Monday either, so I totally missed that as well.
You've missed the boat, man.
Well, only as much as the developers did, so yeah. I was just trying to get it out as soon as possible so that I could beat everyone else to the punch, quite frankly. We have Wort Online, or Wort. That's the, like, I've never been quite sure how you pronounce that. That's like the name of the cloud of comets. That's where comets come from, or most of them. It looks a lot like... what's it called? Cube World. Looking at it. It's a very intricately detailed cube-based world. Which obviously potentially takes its inspirations from Minecraft as well then, I guess, but...
I could be very mistaken for looking at Minecraft.
It's a lot prettier than Minecraft looks frequently quite ugly, to be honest, compared to a lot of Minecraft, if you could be forgiven for calling them Minecraft clones these days. A lot of them do look a hell of a lot better. I mean, honestly, there's one I was sent recently. I forget the name of it exactly. It was Creativerse. Creativerse actually looked really nice, but honestly, gameplay painfully lacking, I found. But compared to Minecraft, it's the same kind of cube-based job, but it looks a lot better because Minecraft, the textures on it are just meh. But obviously, you've got texture packs and whatnot, so you can make Minecraft look much better. But I would say this Ort Online actually looks really nice. Is this free to play? It might be a free to play game. I'm not sure. It is an MMO, which is certainly different to the Minecraft kind of thing. It's a new voxel MMORPG sandbox built and shaped by real players. Kind of interesting. The idea of Minecraft as an MMO is interesting because you kind of just expect everybody to blow up your house with TNT or just destroy it or whatever.
What's your own fault for building the house?
Sorry? Come again?
It's your own fault for building the house.
Yes, clearly. So I don't. Yeah, it sounds like that kind of concept would just end in anarchy, but I don't know.
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna find out. Yeah. As I visually, yeah, having seen more I go through the screenshots, probably it's closer to Minecraft than Cube World. But the first glance at it was like, ooh, that's really pretty. It looks like Cube World, because Cube World was really, really pretty, actually. No, I think that's Minecraft the MMO. Hey, if it's free to play, I might dip a toe in and have a look and see what the heck it's actually. I'll see how it differentiates, but I don't know. I like this. It is an early access. I probably shouldn't even be talking about it. We generally try to skip over these, but I just noticed this from the developers. Why early access? Auto Online is going to be a big game. You that sure, are you? Okay, well, good luck.
At least they're confident.
Yeah, fair enough. So there's that. I should probably refer to our other list rather than just going through the Steam stuff. But what else we got? Scott? The Sun and Moon. Sun and Moon is... I've seen this recently, actually. This was the winner of Ludum Dare 29. It's a platformer with a unique mechanic. Don't really know a lot about it, but I've seen the logo pop up a bunch of times. So it's won awards and things, so it's reasonably well acclaimed. Not rightly sure what the mechanics is. It's got a striking visual style. It's not...
I can't particularly tell how to play it from the screenshots.
No, I can't make out much of it. It's bizarre thing. I don't know. It's a platformer. If you want an interesting platformer, that might be an interesting platformer. Go check out a review. We're not a review. What else do we have on the list? We have Frozen Synapse Prime, which is... Frozen Synapse is... Oh god, what was it? A very difficult one to describe that one. I played Frozen End Zone, which was kind of their spiritual successor to it, which had a lot of similar mechanics, I think. It's this turn-based strategy kind of hacking thing, I think Frozen Synapse was supposed to be, and then they turned this hacking game into what was essentially American football for their Frozen End Zone, which is a very strange kind of thing. Cool, but strange.
Well,
so this is...
Zormans always seem to work out quite well.
Yeah, so this is leading various armies through a maze of buildings and stuff, and doing it tactically. It got I think it got fairly good acclaim. I think a lot of people like this game. I don't know whether it kind of got the success it necessarily deserved, but I suppose if they made 3 games out of it, they must be doing reasonably well from it. So there's that. Who made this one? Double 11. I don't remember the name Double 11, if I'm honest. No, this is, actually, if you check out Double 11 on Steam, this is their only game, so it's maybe not made by the same people who made the original. How strange.
Very strange.
We have This War of Mine, which is a group of civilians trying to survive in a besieged city. Very, very dark, grim, atmospheric looking thing. I'm not quite sure what's going on. I'm not sure. Is this like... I guess it's a war-themed thing, soldiers and stuff trying to kill you and you need to stay alive, I guess. I don't know whether we're talking survival here or what. It's not... kind of... doesn't seem like... Can anyone figure out what this is? That's what I'm getting at. Because I can't figure out what this is.
No, but it looks like my kind of game.
Okay, then. Fair enough.
We'll play and get back to us on how it's going.
I may just do that.
It does seem like it has like survival elements, because there's like a screenshot here of like the crafting interface and stuff, so you're clearly collecting things and crafting them into things to live with. So there's that, and what else have we got? Like, we've got one more game, which is Reverse Side, which is something about the Soviet space missions and stuff, I guess. Immerse yourself into a strange and unpredictable world on the other side of the moon, which is something about a spacecraft launched by the USSR in 1972, and years later we're trying to find out the cause of the failure of the mission. I don't know. It seems like that's kind of a recurring theme like this. I feel like there's been a few games popped up recently which have just been, oh yes, disaster in space. Try and survive disaster in space.
Seems to be a popular genre at the moment.
Because there's what was the other one? It was something Planet. There's a lot. To be fair, there've been a lot of Planet games.
There's been quite a few Planet releases recently.
Yes, and running a Steam search doesn't bring that up. There was something Forgotten Planet, was there something? I think.
Sounds familiar.
Yeah, I think that's the one you're thinking of.
We'll go with that. Yes. Holy shit! There are a lot of games with the planet name Planet in the name when you do that search. Oh wow. And Lifeless Planet. That's the one I'm thinking of. Sorry, yeah, Lifeless Planet. That was kind of a weird Soviet mission. You've crashed on Mars, and then it turns out there's like an entire civilization on Mars, and you need to wander around and find clues and keep your oxygen replenished and stuff. Weird kind of thing. Seems like they're tapping into the same kind of inspiration. So yeah, there you go. That's your game releases for the week. That's going to kind of pretty much bring us to a close. Anyone want to talk us out? I don't got anything else to say, or to add, or to throw in?
Tinfoil is a wonderful, wonderful invention.
I'm glad you agree. Because I've just got a contract from the Tinfoil Council.
Yay! Now my meat will be fine.
Well, I was looking for something to roast my chicken in. And this has come just in the nick of time.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, this has been the Button Mash Podcast, brought to you by reputable brands of tinfoil
And arse goggles.
space flamethrowers.
And space flamethrowers. Yes.
Well, thank you very much for listening. We very appreciate it. If you want to find out more information about Button Mash, you can go to our Facebook, which is
Facebook.com/buttonmash.
follow us on Twitter at
Not Facebook. Twitter.com/button_mash_UK.
You can, if you want to see video reviews by John, you can follow him on YouTube at.
YouTube.com/buttonmashempire.
You can find us on Steam at.
The Steam curation page can be shortened to bit.ly/bmsteam.
And you can check out our website at.
Button-mash.net.
And if you really do, and I suppose this is the first week where I should mention it, if you want to patron for John.
That's so begrudging!
You can find him somewhere, I don't know.
At patreon.com/buttonmash.
Are you happy?
In case you want to support me making videos as a living, yes.
Thank you.
I'm happy. You do not seem very happy about having to do that.
I do everything begrudgingly.
You're here begrudgingly. You're here only at the money of the Tinfoil Council.
Once I see that tinfoil money, I'm off.
Well, you, sir, won't be around to get the royalties from the arse goggles.
Then I'm taking you to court after I've made a video of you. And it's going to have white text. That's how you know I'm going to be serious.
Well, I will issue a DMCA takedown on it.
Well, I'm just going to go talk to Disney. We'll see you in court.
I'm just going to kill Gabe Newell.
Okay, then. You'll never get another game on Steam again.
The views of the Button Mash host. I had to get it in.
That wasn't even appropriate, but go on.
I think it applies to all of us in that situation.
Okay.
Specifically Will, because he issued a death threat.
Alrighty.
On behalf of Button Mash, we thank you very much for listening. On behalf of myself, and on behalf of John.
Thank you.
And on behalf of Will.
Cheers.
This has been the Button Mash Podcast. We will see you next week. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.